Welcome to Hafta Extra. This is because we have
Super
so
strong
many
extra.
emails. Super strong extra. Extra power. Extra
Powered by
whiteness.
subscribers and no alcohol beverage.
We have over 30 emails from subscribers, and because we are answerable to our subscribers and we are afloat and solvent and alive because of them, we have included this extra half an hour, 40 minutes to go over each mail so none get left out. The ones that have stuck to the 150 word rule. You can mail us at podcast@newslaundry.com and we will respond to your feedback. We will take your suggestions and we're answerable to you. But it may take a while to get to your emails because sometimes they pile up. It takes a while. Right. Let's start from the first, Manisha.
Harnik Kang says, in last hafta, Abhinandan spoke a bit about history of Kumbh. If we leave out Brahmanical versions and look at historical proofs like archaeology, travel logs, etc., then we come across travel logs of Yun Sang. In his book, described Prayag as important Buddhism city having two sangharams or colleges with hostels. The site where Ganga and Yamuna, no Saraswati as per him. This is where Yun Sang says they would meet and call it Mahadan Bhumi, where during Mela or gathering, as per astrological dates. So people were gathering at this place according to astrological dates. Kings or rich had ceremony to give dan to the first Buddhist monks and institutions than to other poor people. But no one talks about history as it was. Indian history is just a war of narratives.
Thank you, Harnik.
I should recommend my interview with Anirudh Kanisati on the Chola Empire, where he talks about the war of narratives in history, and it's quite interesting. Vaibhav says, Hafta episode I watched on 15th Feb worried me when I saw Abhinandan asking for proof of RSS role in IAC protests of 2013-14. I believe there's a clear gap of understanding on how RSS operates. RSS indoctrinates at an early age, and then things take care of themselves without having the need for any central orchestration. You need to see who is involved and what is their background to understand how RSS infiltrates movements and organizations with their people hiding in plain sight. The way this indoctrination works is so subtle that even people with the purest of intentions are seen siding with the right-wing positions and causes. AAP has a clear problem in this aspect, starting right at the top. Congress has had a huge infiltration for the longest of time, reaching even inside the Gandhi family at times. I hope that you will take note of this.
Okay, thank you, Vaibhav. Appreciate your input and feedback. But I can tell you, out of the people who were the architects of the Jan Lokpal movement, it wasn't 2013-14. 11-12 is when it started. The peak was, I think, 2012. None of the people who were the primary movers and shakers were remotely RSS sympathizers other than Kiran Bedi, who actually had zero influence over what is going to happen. She would just show up and become a star and want popularity. So on that, I can tell you for sure.
Sandeep Banik says, Dear NL Hafta team, news is time sensitive and fresh updates often overshadow older content. Podcasts like Hafta, however, provide deeper discussions with expert insights. To expand your subscriber base, consider releasing older Hafta episodes from behind the paywall after a set delay. So we used to do that.
Yeah,
We
I think
stopped doing
after
that.
3 works, it used to be out. I'll just check if we've discontinued that practice.
We have discontinued that, but we can restart it.
Historical data on free Hafta releases could inform the optimal time frame. Since discussion topics eventually lose timelines, the cost of making them public may be minimal. Additionally, the associated full video episodes could boost YouTube views, drawing in new subscribers. Your in-house analytics team could refine the data to make such decision. Such an approach might maximize engagement while retaining core subscribers. I hope you find these suggestions valuable and wish Hafta continued success. Thank you.
Yes, Sandeep, very valuable. We will actually look at the strategy on how we can do this.
Raghav says, Hello team, I went to the Kumbh recently and had a weird experience. In a conversation with friends, I accidentally said the word Allahabad, following which my friends called me pseudo-secular and leftists. This was very hurtful for me, coming from two of my closest friends. It was my observation that the locals called the place Allahabad and the outsiders like us wanted them to call it Prayagraj. The name change is more like Aurangabad to Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar to remove Aurangzeb's association rather than Mumbai or Chennai name in the local language. What are your thoughts about this? My friend from Allahabad still calls it Allahabad. So
I realized only after this Kumbh Mela began that
it's
we were
Prayagraj.
calling it Prayagraj in news stories, because I didn't notice that
You
shift
know, but it
happening.
takes me also a second to think, what's Prayagraj?
What is
I'm like,
Prayagraj?
oh,
I
okay,
had a
Allahabad.
friend literally texted me the other day saying, listen, I have a really stupid question, but since you're a journalist, I'm asking you. And I was like, why, what happened? I thought she'll ask me something really important, where I'll give her like my journalistic acumen and all. She's like, what is Prayagraj? So I was like, yes, it's Allahabad. And then that was it. It hasn't caught on, I feel.
Even I feel like it hasn't, at least not in my friend circle.
See, like for me, Times of India is the only newspaper that refers to Turkey as Turkey
Turkey.
with that spelling. So
I mean,
guess
even the
it's-
World Cup, in fact, this last World Cup was the first World Cup where I noticed all the commentators were referring to Turkey as Turkey. Otherwise,
Yeah.
in all the Euros or the World Cups, they would also refer to the Turkish team as the Turkey team. So, I mean, I guess it'll catch on. I mean, on name changing, I don't have a standard view, but the intent matters, yeah. I mean, I don't think there is anything wrong with rethinking certain names, certain statues. Like in the US, this whole thing of, slave owner statues being taken down. I had mixed views on that. Like, if everybody was a slave owner, then
Yeah.
like I don't know, yeah. I don't have a thought through position on this. Does anyone have a thought through position on this?
I mean, it all seems like very. It's fake. It's not being done with the intention of trying to, right some historical wrong or whatever. It's just that we think that this name will have more currency because we are,
Yeah, it's a
this is our
political move for
politics and so
sure.
on. So I don't know.
Anand, I think you had a.
I think it will take time, 20 years. It will
Like,
catch
do you
on.
guys call it Gurugram or do you call it
No,
Gurgaon?
No, we are
Gurgaon.
Gurgaon.
Then you're wrong.
Bombay even today.
Bombay, yeah.
Bangalore
I'll
also.
never forget that interview of Bal Thackeray with Veer Sanghvi. Where Veer Sanghvi says Bombay, says Mumbai bolne ka. Like on camera threatening. And Veer Sanghvi he was, okay, I'll say Mumbai, but I can't change the name of the film. The film's name is Bombay. He was like, it was. Anyway.
Method Man says, it's unfortunate you covered the UGC story without referencing reportage from Kerala, Arif Khan, where there's been a lot of chancellor government conflict recently. If you'd look at those rather than relying just on your guest, you would see what looks like straight up nepotism, where rules are bent to get 5 wives of CPIM ministers and functionaries into university teaching posts over heads of better qualified people. Not saying that this justifies executive takeover, but if states' rights arguments become a convenient cover for marking territory, the appointment system loses credibility and the public stops caring who controls the levers. The fall of the state universities did not start with the BJP. Allahabad, Madras, even Calcutta are pale shadows. Delhi, Bombay, rare survivors, and the central universities have done much better.
No, he's right. He's very right. He's very actually all state universities aspire to be central universities. Means at least students. Students want that they should be declared central universities, and there is a long demand for many universities to be central universities. In fact, the reverse aspiration is stronger. Because they think that central universities will bring funds, a more standardization of processes, and also greater currency for their degree in the job market. And so he is right in a way. Yes.
Method Man has also added, Hartosh, is there anything the man loves? I would like him more for it. And I love this. Tanveer Ejaz out Abhinandan in not letting others speak.
But Method Man, on the bit, I mean, you're probably right on the state universities not performing as well as central universities and then aspiring for that. But your point of argument, I disagree with, that appointments are done based on the recommendation of politicians in state universities. That would be a valid critique or criticism if that didn't happen in central universities.
Yeah.
That happens in central universities also. So you can't. So I don't think that is a valid criticism. You can say that, there could be other problems, that if the same thing can happen in central universities, I mean, I can tell you in central universities, forget the appointments of professors, even which professor gets leave depends on who he or she is related to, yeah, at what time, what is the posting they get. So that is an Indian problem. It's not a state university problem.
But maybe it's better in central universities. It's not so brazen.
I don't know
Because
about that.
politicians
No,
do
I
tend to
highly
use, state politicians may use it very, very.
See, some legacy state universities are good. Means good in relative terms. I am not saying that they're high. Like say the presidency town universities like Calcutta University, Madras University. They are a state university. Even to an
Jadavpur.
Jadavpur, to an extent, even Patna University was considered good till late 80s. Now not. And Allahabad University was considered a
Yeah.
good university,
Yeah.
but it is now a central university, Allahabad University. So some are good. It's not that all central universities are better than state universities, but the means average aspiration is that we should be central
Right.
university.
Okay, Manan says for Mahakumbh headcount, I add that 48 crore number is bullshit. It can't be because population of the country is 140 crore. This means more than one third of the country is at Kumbh. Assuming these devotees are evenly distributed. Do you see one third of your housing society office staff friends visiting Kumbh? My God, he's really gone into the details of mathematical explanation. Now we take other factors into account. People of other religion will not visit Kumbh in the same proportion as Hindus. Government claims 80 crore people get free food. So assuming most of them are unable to travel from states which are far from UP, taking wealth disparity into account. So basically saying it's not possible that 48 crore people could have,
No,
attended
but he's
this.
exactly right, because the Hindus editorial today also said the exact same thing that he's written, which is that if you're saying 48 crore people are at Kumbh, that means literally one third of your entire population has made its way there, which is just not, it doesn't make any sense.
I think it's more a matter of speech, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are
No,
lots of
they are saying, they're
people,
giving
they're saying-
numbers.
Yeah, but I
It is
the maths
no, but
doesn't add up.
if the official figure is 48 crore, that
Yeah,
means
yeah.
they are saying officially one third of the
Oh.
almost one third of the population.
That's
I-
just
there,
not
which-
possible.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Manan, we will add you to the Friends of News Laundry list. Thank you. Manan has offered us Wi-Fi, a place to work out of, and a bike in case we need in Gujarat for our project. So if you want to also be added to the Friends of News Laundry, like many of our subscribers, other than subscribing, help us whenever we are in different parts through logistics, please mail me at abhinandansekhri@gmail.com. We have a list of about, I think, 30 or 40 people in different parts of the country who help us and our team when they are there. So if you also want to be on that list, but thank you so much, Manan, we will take up your offer.
Peri Sai Teja says, respected sirs and madams, I was about to post a spirited defense of Mr. Anand Vardhan and how bland everyone else's arguments feel like compared to his. But the unfortunate incident at KIIT has forced me to shift focus on the shameful conduct of the institute management towards Nepali students. Having done my bachelor's from a private university myself, I could say that this kind of a shadowy, suppressive behavior is all too common at private institutes. On the contrary, I found government universities are much better in responding to student needs, inadequate as they may be. In any case, there would not be the vilest assault by security guards and management that we witnessed at KIIT. I wonder where the opposition is when all this is happening. Whether it be Kumbh mismanagement or KIIT or myriad other grievances, I feel the opposition is completely absent. I think that video was just
Yeah, man.
just
Those are like
disgusting. The
principals
teacher.
and all, right? Teachers.
know,
I mean, how are you talking like
the
your
story-
Nepali
the story-
economy is less than our fee, or I don't know what
Story
the fuck
of
she
the
was saying.
honor, I think partly I read it. This guy started this, in 2 rooms in 1992. Okay. Now it is spread into several kilometers, this university, and it has 40,000 students. 40,000. I think this is something. And he was politically, he was part of BJD.
BJD. Yeah, also, it means the standard response of all private schools and universities is that reputation saving. So means they're in very panic mode. But here you see faculty and all these you had incidents of Kashmiri students being attacked in a cricket match where they
I
were,
remember that.
and all these private universities, they have a very it's a I am saying a different thing. The student teacher ratio is healthy. Means say also the students are more organized in gangs like this. It's not only against Nepali students. Within India also they have regional these caucuses. Means of course the common factor is there is means a lot of say abuse of Bihari students.
Mayuk Bose says, kind of tragic after hearing Abhinandan praise the stability of American institutions for so long in contrast to Indian ones to see Trump take a dump on them. Love your work from the mission to every bit of execution. Thanks, NL Zindabad.
Although, Mayuk, you will appreciate that a man like Trump and Musk together still have not been able to just bulldoze over it. I mean, the Congress, and also after the 2 year when the midterm happens, let's see how things change then. Because, 2 years after the presidential election.
Please, America's a joke.
And, okay. But a judge yesterday also blocked another executive order of his. There are 2 of that have already been stayed. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's a no contest. It's a no contest in my view.
Also, one thing is that just when Mr. Biden came or Mr. Trump came here, we 4-year term, so we generally overread the U.S. election results, because I think whatever even extreme policies Democrat or Republican have, they have a shorter shelf life. Means shorter shelf life in the sense. Now, if you look back at some of the editorials that were written when Mr. Biden came in, they now you will think they are ludicrous. Means that this change is coming. This and same will happen with Mr. Trump. Means
Overestimate.
Yes, overreading the electoral judgments. Yes.
Sure.
Jugrad says, my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory about India's got latent online controversy is as following. Adarniya Shri Best PM promised eventual political protection and future wealth influence creation opportunities to Beer Bicep Samir Raina to create this controversy so that the government finds a reason to support its law to restrict and police digital media. यार इतना मतलब
It's not a bad conspiracy theory though.
it is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a conspiracy
on
nevertheless.
steroids.
All liberals are going to love it.
Yeah, Jugraj, I get what you're saying, but I don't buy it.
So
No, I don't buy it, but I like it. It's a good theory.
Sudept Roy says, hi, a long-term NL subscriber who's proud to support the awesome work that our journalists do. I'm at a crossroads. After NL's alliance with TNM, I expected wider coverage, but as I read and listen to TNM, they appear to be unidimensional activists lacking the impartiality of a journalist. Among several examples, while discussing Narayan Murthy's 70-hour work week prescription, their highly regarded executive editor managed to bring in caste angle completely out of context, as he's often prone to do. Extreme wokeism is not only troublesome, but also leads to undesirable consequences like Trump. You may not have an easy answer to the situation, so you do what you have to. You do what you have to is like some Godfather type. You know what I told you, now you do what you have to. Okay, we shall forward the critique.
Yes.
Baki Hanma says, few days back, a UFC fighter, Bryce Michelle, started a podcast. UFC क्या होता है?
वो जो
Fighting.
हैं?
which
What?
this one's Sanyal
Fencing,
Khan's
it's
also.
this-
Yeah, it's
okay.
it's
Like
It's
a,
mixed
martial arts. It's like MMA basically.
Yeah.
It's a brand which does MMA.
Okay. So this guy started a podcast, and on its very first episode, he said he'd have loved to go fishing with Hitler, who was a nice dude. There was backlash from all corners, and he apologized. UFC boss Dana White was questioned if they'd fire Bryce, to which he said it was the dumbest and the most ignorant stuff that Bryce had said, but it's free speech, and we like it or not like it, but it is what it is. Then we have the whole Samay Beer Biceps thing where a joke has killed an entire IP. I'm not the target audience of what Samay puts out, and for Ranveer is India's Joe Rogan with hair and without charisma, but with potentially a similar diabolic impact. But does nobody care about free speech in India? Sadly, the answer is yes, but not even for the bunch that massaged the right. Last couple of weeks have been interesting, yeah. In fact, because I've been watching so much of this Samir Raina, now my feed is just promoting his videos. So I saw this one roast on Netflix between Rohan Joshi and Samir. It has the choicest of abuses and very crass. And this is on Netflix. And I was just thinking, it's actually these guys just thought that we're not going to do religion, we won't do politics, and we'll run with whatever the fuck we want and we'll be safe. And it's actually very stupid, because what they were doing has more, politics, you can still choose a political joke. You'll have some people who'll support, no, it's okay to curse Modi, it's okay to curse Mamata. But morality is something that everyone in India has a general, like he's saying, everyone, like Priyanka Chaturvedi said this is disgusting. Across political ideologies, across all our parents will feel that this is wrong.
Just
So they were
like
actually-
Anand, I also hate to watch. I never watch. Never.
But I think it's very short-sighted of them.
That some standard comic is Comedy is very good. But the next email is
Ah.
Shrikant. Is 395 words. So Shrikant, as per the rule, we will not read it, but we'll tell our audience. You have been very appreciative of Anand's
Timely interventions.
timely interventions on scholarship, on conservative scholarship. You have said that even Bapu was a conservative. I don't quite agree.
Well, on some things he was, like
yeah,
cow
but I
protection
would-
and all.
but I would not describe him as a conservative political ideology. And you have been very critical of Hartosh dismissing right-wing scholarship. And Swapan Das Gupta is a renegade, as Hartosh recognized tongue-in-cheek. And you have also said that left-wing prides itself in having produced great scholarship, or at least having the right credentials. As Hartosh likes to say, he is right to the extent that many liberal and left-leaning scholars and Vidwans have a reputation of having Western educated. And you're saying in non-English language or in other languages, conservative scholarship is robust. So that is the point you're making. But you've made in 395 words. But thank you so much for writing and for your support.
We
But
can-
also, anyway, the full letter would be published
Yeah.
in the Hafta letters write-up. So
Oh, okay.
Pradeep says, I have two questions. This is regarding Abhinandan Sekhri claiming that RSS was not driving the IAC movement. However, Raju Parulekar said that he was part of the inner circle and that it was driven by RSS. So you can respond to that. How much do you expect that an average person should spend reading news in a week? Because if I watch NL Hafta, South Central, NL Chalcha, NL Tippani, TV Newsons, Reporters Without Borders, this itself takes 8 hours in a week, which comes to more than 1 hour per day. This doesn't even cover the ground reports and deep analysis done by your team. So I want to know how much time do you realistically expect a person to See, there's no expectation. It's up to you.
So Pradeep,
I mean,
my thing is, are you single or are you married?
Ready to mingle.
Are you single or bachelor, as we say in Punjab? If you are single, I would suggest you consume at least an hour and a half to 2 hours of news a day. It is
this
very
could be a couple activity. You can sit with your better half and read newspapers,
well.
watch
Then
things.
too many things have to coordinate. But otherwise, I would say
if
5
you're
hours a
married,
week.
then what? Don't.
5 hours a week. On the weekend you can do 4 hours and 1 hour during the week. Like
4 hours in the
4
weekend.
hours a day.
no, on the weekend between Saturday and Sunday to 2 hours
2
each.
hours each.
And for the rest of the week, 20 minutes a day. I think that's enough.
See, I'm married, but I read 3 newspapers a day.
But
I
you're
feel
a
like
journalist. How many
No, you're a
journalists?
journalist. No, sorry,
Not
this
bad.
doesn't.
Journalists are another species.
And not just journalists, you're news laundry where we are. I mean, I'm consuming maybe 20 hours a day. I'm the Sudha
Yeah,
Murthy
so
of
I
news.
think-
See,
it depends on
Narayan
how
Murthy.
interested you
Narayan
are,
Murthy.
though. It's
yeah.
Yeah, totally
No,
depends
but I
on
think if
your...
you're a non-news professional, like just a person who's doing, something is non-news related, I think 5 hours a week is enough. Yeah, more
20
than that
minutes a
is
day,
not-
yeah, like a podcast giving you...
Yeah, I wouldn't do more than that.
But really do what makes you happy.
Yes, means.
I
means,
mean, if news is riling you up, then don't read
no,
or watch.
man, on your deathbed, you should not be regretting that you spent 5 years reading news. Okay.
that's too good.
And if you're single, all the more reason to not read news, na? You want to, like, do other things.
Yeah.
Even after working for 30 years, 35 years, even I don't feel like reading news. But it's compulsory. What do we
Actually,
do?
news avoidance is a real thing.
No, it has started affecting
Yeah.
you.
It's
It
a thing.
affects you so much.
Hansika says that this is regarding me mentioning contrast of democracies and non-democracies and their economic progress, and she suggested an assignment beyond regimes, China and India compared. It's a book, so I should definitely read it. And says this book will answer a lot of my questions. Thank you. I shall catch it. Rakshit Tyagi says, thank you, Anand. As someone who often finds myself getting emotionally invested in issues, I appreciate your unique ability to approach topics with calmness and nuanced perspective. I propose and hope for a new long-form podcast by you. Given your busy schedule, a semi-monthly podcast could explore contemporary topics without being tied to the news cycle. The format could mirror the Erza Klein show, with options for audio essays, expert interviews, or discussions with NL team members to delve deeper into your views. This podcast would offer a unique platform for thoughtful, in-depth analysis and discussions. Noted.
Yes.
Whether Anand notes or not, we have noted.
Anand needs to come up
आप
with an
लोगों ने
idea.
इसे घोस्ट राइट कर दिया है क्या?
No, but on this
अरे
Anand,
रक्षित
on this
त्यागी को ऐसे negate मत करो.
on this Raju Parlekar thing, I just like to
Oh, yeah.
tell Pradeep, it is completely everyone like Ashutosh has written a book on the movement. He joined the movement like way later when it was clear it was force to reckon with. In fact, if you see his earlier broadcast when he was the managing editor of IBN, he has been very critical and he was quite pro-government. Raju was the gatekeeper of Anna. You could not speak with Anna without Raju screening your calls. Of course, I don't know what his relationship with Anna now is.
Oh, I
That
didn't know
was
that.
his involvement. Other than Raju had no idea what was happening here. He
I
was
didn't
not
know
even
that.
here. So a lot of people, I have seen his interview, they're payloing yarn about things that they were not here. Raju used to be in Ralegaon Siddhi half the time, and you could not get an appointment. He was R.K. Dhawan, what R.K. Dhawan was to Indira Gandhi, Raju was to Anna. So, and I'm happy to have a conversation with any of these people because lots of people are payloing yarn on this who had no idea what the fuck was happening.
Very interesting. On to letters from the last week. Dear News Laundry team, I've been a subscriber since 2021, listening religiously to Hafta every week and Charcha regularly, besides keeping up with your reports. Last week, I discovered Awful and Awesome, and it's fantastic. Easily one of the best light podcasts I've heard. I'm a new fan. As my birthday is February 7th, sharing it with News Laundry makes the
Yay!
discovery even more special. Kudos to Abhinandan, Anand, Jayashree, Shardul for making all the podcasts so engaging. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, Manisha and Raman sir are also there.
But maybe she doesn't find us engaging. It's fine.
Oh, no.
But that's okay.
No,
You
Nil.
may. That's a
That's true.
personal choice. It's fine.
Yeah, that's that. So many people hate me also. That's fine.
Abhijit says the Mahakumbh incident has left me dejected. The hiding of data bodies, the denial, the cover-ups, it's nauseating. Sure, the government will care about optics and the media houses have vested interests, but one could still assume that at some point a basic human decency will take priority. The basic respect for human lives and deaths. Like Dhanya remarked on South Central, it's amazing how everyone involved complied with the cover-ups. One would guess that someone in those newsrooms would rebel at this point. It's like we're in Orwellian dystopia. Kudos to reporters like Basant and Lallan Top's Abhinav, but it is a depressing state of affairs if you need investigative journalism for something as simple as
Yeah.
how many people died.
That's a very good point. It
Yeah.
should not be investigated.
Lastly, someone should follow up on what happened at that Haldiram store in Juicy. Apparently, the people have changed and the new people are just saying Sab changa si. One of the women who was womaning the stall, apparently she moved from there. She was moved. One doesn't know where she is, but yeah.
The one who's in that video.
Yeah.
Yeah. NR says, long time subscriber and a fan of NL. Quick comment on the topic of immigration that came up in Hafta 523. It makes me very uncomfortable when the argument of you plundered us. Now it's our time comes up.
Yeah, Manisha's
I
argument that was. Own
I
up.
stand by
Manish.
it.
Own up to the.
Screw the whites. Brown people unite.
Oh my god.
Dear
okay.
God, we are going to be cancelled. We are going to be cancelled by Elon Musk. Elon uncle, we are firing her today only.
Have
Promise.
you realized this on all this whole Bangladesh India thing? No one's looking at the fact that for Trump, brownies are just brownies. India को पैसा दिया, Bangladesh को दिया, उसको पता ही नहीं है.
Yeah,
He's just saying, why are you into India? It's this mass of brown people that we're giving money to. Anyway, I've heard the same logic used by right wingers when it comes to justifying their Muslim hate. The Mughals looted, raped, ruled over us. Now we'll show them. I don't think this loop of perpetual revenge is helpful in moving forward. Immigration is such a complicated issue that clearly needs to be dealt with empathy and kindness while thinking of those seeing migration as well as current citizens. Thoughts?
So, NR, I completely agree with you. I think Manisha
No,
is
but
a very...
Mughals didn't come
she's a
here,
hateful-
loot
she's a-
us and take it to Samarkand. No, they looted us and stayed here. And
Manisha is
so
a
then that's okay.
hateful
British
bigot.
took it away from us and took it away.
Manisha is racist and hateful. And we are very embarrassed of her. And we
South
are
Asians
sending-
must unite
We are sending her
against
for we are sending her for sensitization program to the Shri Shri Art of Living Ravi Shankar 8-day program, followed by the 8-day program of Baba Ramdev.
No, colonization is a special
who was
crime. You
running
can't
faster
equate
than
it
a
with
horse.
anything else.
Who was
Vipassana.
who was running faster than a horse. You saw that video of Ramdev running?
I thought that horse was running pretty slowly. Though.
Yeah, dude. what
Hello,
shit.
excuse.
on.
Are you making fun of him?
Of whom?
It's Ramdev running
Yes.
along with the. Are you mad? He's 60 and he's running amazingly.
Oh
Like it's
my
amazing
God, no.
stamina
It
to
was
see
a
him
slow
run.
horse.
It was not a slow horse. It was
Can
an
I just-
okay horse
Maybe your
riding.
standards are very low. Day after tomorrow.
At 60.
Hang on, yes.
You are not 60 yet.
I'm
Don't say
not-
I'll run along a horse.
I'm not. But there's Ratnoda. Hope you're watching. He's 59. He plays football with us. There's a guy in Spanish guy called Coro, who is 62.
So you need to
You're
get
not
a
running
horse
along
to-
a horse.
no,
First you run along a horse. Then
I
I'll-
would like to see Ramdev survive a 90-minute football game.
Challenge accepted, Ramdev.
Yeah. So I know enough 60 to
Manisha on
65
his
year old.
behalf, yeah.
So just because you're
I
going for
think
the
it's-
sensitization camp for free.
Football game 90 minute is huge. You know
Come
how
on, yeah,
many
running next to a
how many
horse is like
kilometers
great.
That
you should watch just one
You
match and see the
first run next to a
statistics.
horse, then
How
I'll-
much each one of them
who
runs.
was
you know,
that
is-
general, yeah, who did very 20
I think
pull-ups
Ramdev
at
is,
the age of 58?
whatever you may think of him, he's spectacularly
No,
fit and we
I'm
should
saying
give it
he's
to him.
spectacularly fit, but he cannot run fast as a horse, dude. That's bullshit.
Because
It
the
is
horse wasn't
insane.
running
Even
at full
Usain
swim.
Bolt cannot
Trotting
run as...
along with the horse is also very hard. He must, the horse is trotting.
Yeah, it was trotting. It was not galloping.
But that's also very hard. Anyway,
Okay.
I support Ramdev and Mughals and I'm against the Brits. Anyway, so now we go
Rohit.
Rohit. I saw Ravish Kumar's interview. Can you take it? I noticed how optimistic he was about social media and its impact on women's future. It reminded me of myself. I also used to feel like him. Like I would grow up and it'll be a very different world for my generation. My generation won't believe in caste, or we would be more welcoming and we would bring a good change. But the more I grow up, my friends, my contemporaries, people around me are getting more casteist, misogynistic and more homophobic. It's just tough for me to adjust to this reality. Have you ever felt this way? I'm thinking, or am I thinking too much? By the way, I'm 23.
Not true.
Hmm.
23 is such a long way to go.
Yeah, Rohit,
Wait
maybe,
till your 30s.
no, maybe you've just got exposed to more
Yeah.
people because now you're an adult. Maybe till 5 years ago, you were only exposed to shorter. But I think people are less homophobic now.
Yeah.
As someone who's 50, I cannot even repeat the kind of things that used to happen when I was a kid. People are less misogynistic now. On social media, it gets amplified, the nutty voices, but I don't think it's more. It's definitely improved. That's my view. Casteism, I think, is a people who are casteist are suddenly in power. But the one thing I think is moved backwards, which I'm quite sad about, and that has everything to do with leadership, and that's true for the US and in India. Like the BJP won, right? They won resoundingly in Delhi. The ministers they made, chief minister, culture minister, they could have chosen. It's not like they don't have decent people in their party. It's not like all the 44 people who won, or whatever, 48 people who won, were all horrible people. Out of 20, 25, 30 of them were decent. But the ones they have chosen as ministers, Parvesh Sharma, Kapil Mishra, the chief minister, are all people who have publicly said the most horrible, hateful things or done violent things.
जहां जहां ये आपको दिखाई दे, मैं कहता हूं अगर इनका दिमाग ठीक करना है, इनकी तबीयत ठीक करनी है, तो एक ही इलाज है, वो है संपूर्ण बहिष्कार. आप इस बात से सहमत हो? हाथ खड़ा करके बोलो सहमत हो. और मेरे साथ बोलो, हम इनका संपूर्ण बहिष्कार करेंगे. हम इनके दुकान रेडियो से कोई सामान नहीं खरीदेंगे. हम इनको कोई मजदूरी नहीं देंगे.
They choose to reward the worst. And that is the thing that I think has moved backwards. And that's true for Trump. Out of all the positions he wanted confirmations for, it is a hell of a coincidence that 4 of them had either sex with underage girls or inappropriate behavior with women. Like, out of all the people in America, you could, like, the fact that 4 of your picks have this and you yourself are caught on tape saying grab them by the pussy, I think that is something that's very sad. That I think has moved backwards. At least earlier, even if you won, you would try to put the face of your party, even if it was a puppet, as the most decent person. Now, the ones who are rewarded are the worst.
Yeah.
That I think has gone bad, but on the others, I think we're better off.
Rakshit says, I recently became a paying subscriber and truly appreciate the incredible work you all
3
do.
cheers for Rakshit.
Especially Hafta. My question again to Abhinandan is role of RSS and Anna movement. As someone who was actively involved, what are your thoughts on this? Looking back, I personally feel a sense of guilt for unintentionally amplifying what may have been an RSS-driven agenda, especially since none of the alleged scams ultimately proved to be true. I think you
Rakshit,
said...
you just have to go and see last week's Hafta, man.
Yeah, I think there's also a lot of assumption about RSS being made here also, in the sense that people may... For the RSS as a body to have influence is very different from people whose sympathies overlap with RSS's causes.
Yeah.
And RSS's causes are not that... I mean, in India, majority Hindu nation, for a lot of people, it overlaps. And it has since independence. Like in Nehru's cabinet, he was very upset that, my own people are more RSS than the RSS. What do I
Exactly.
do?
So
And
that's
partition was happening.
One thing, this reminds me of what Napol once said, and he was right. And in hindsight, I think he was right, that many people writing in English, particularly journalists in English, write on India as if they are writing on a foreign country. So not because of the lack of patriotic, or yes, he said that commonsensical understanding of an average Indian means how he thinks, what is his psyche. So many English language, many, no, he said most. In fact, he said all. So all Indian journalists in English write on India as if they are writing on a foreign country with a very Western frame. So he was right, I think, in a lot of ways, and that comes on the comment in this kind of commentary. I mean, he's not a journalist, but what he may be consuming, I think.
Ujjwal says, I may differ from other subscribers, but Anand's failure to bring in any commentary is a big letdown to Hafta. On each issue, he claims to add what has not been said. His words, not mine, but what he adds is the most obvious facts that really add context and hardly offers an opinion. I find this calisthenic attempt at neutrality to be disingenuous. I'm glad he was called out. If not adding a perspective, why is he there? That said, his interventions are better than Shardul's flippant, sometimes ignorant views.
No,
Overall, fantastic work.
and actually, he has written 3 mails. He has sent a personal mail also.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
He's broken the rule.
No, he has marked you and him also
Yeah,
on
I've
that
seen that.
mail.
Yeah.
So there he has a different tone. So
He's kinder or worse?
yes, means laudatory.
Oh, laudatory.
So one thing about that calling out is a very self-congratulatory thing. Just as on the internet, he shut him up. So actually, I think you called out for what? Called out for having a different opinion. I didn't do any crime. I just said that a lot of laws are made without taking into account what the executive would do with it. So it's a standard practice. Otherwise, many constitutions would not have been framed. Many laws would not be in action if you take into account what executive. So actually, also, yes, he's correct that I don't have a very strong opinion on a lot of things. That he is correct. Also, I would say not called out, but I move out of conversations. Otherwise, the conversations will not
go on and on.
move on. Otherwise, you can't prove that whether Ramunde was fit or not.
Anand was sighing on the side while we were debating that. Ujjwal says, this is my second letter since I felt the last one was too critical. Was the same person?
Yeah.
I'm
he
blunt?
has written 3 mails,
Okay.
actually.
So fine. I rely on NL for credible reporting, insightful commentary, and says, please read my critique as coming from a place of support and pride and not bitterness. There are certainly merits to whom I've criticized, but it's my duty as a subscriber to voice
Absolutely,
them.
it is.
Abha says, please, yaar, Abhinandan, stop adding your comments before the headlines are done. You all should have a mechanism or like a code word to stop this from happening.
I love the idea of a code word.
What do you think it should be?
I mean, the show is not live, so we don't really need. We can just tell each other to not talk. So
No, in Aaj Tak, yes, when I was working there, so if when you're live, the reporters, he just goes on speaking and speaking. So
Uh-huh.
you need to cut it. So earlier
Yeah.
they used to cut it very abruptly.
Hmm.
So we developed a code. So you need to say, okay. So once the anchor says okay,
That's it.
so you better stop.
wow, that's a tough quote though, because I may say okay.
It's
All
very
the time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It should be like a word like
It
banana.
should be if I see
or something.
okay,
It should
okay,
never
3
Banana
times.
in the middle. Abhinandan, banana.
No, that's the thing. The challenge will be to slip it in without.
Yeah, that would be a
sounding
real
weird.
challenge. Like if you're talking about, let's say the Kumbh or something, Kumbh, you can still say, did you have the prasad, which is a banana? Okay. Something that you
Done.
cannot have a banana anywhere. Let's say you're talking about USAID's intervention on AIDS programs. How can you introduce banana? Let's see. We'll give us special gift to anyone who can introduce seamlessly banana into that.
You could say that they provide a lot of healthy food through their programming, including fruits and vegetables and bananas. And then you're done.
Okay, fine. Jayashree's one.
Laws says, dear News Laundry team, I hope this email finds you well. As an 18-year-old BMM student from Mumbai, I'm writing to express my heartful admiration. Thank you. It's so nice to listen from an 18-year-old subscriber. Manisha ma'am, Abhinandan sir, your commitment to unbiased, fearless journalism is truly inspiring. I'm a huge fan of Nidhi Suresh's work also. Thank you so much for your kind words. Says your dedication to seeking truth and holding power to account has motivated me to pursue a career in journalism. That was never my intention, must say. Never. I am reaching out to inquire about potential opportunities to intern or work at News Laundry. For sure. So, internships we have.
Internships we have. In fact, we have 3 interns right now as we
Yeah.
speak. You can just mail me Abhinandan Sekhri at gmail.com. I'll forward it to Shwet, who handles our internship program.
Yeah.
Or you can just write to him directly, Shwet at newslaundry.com.
On a lighter note, I'd love it if you could read this email on your next Hafta we have. My name is Luhana. Naam
All
to
right,
yaad
Luhana.
rahega. Thanks.
Laws the journal.
How sweet.
Agita says, I recently watched BBC India interview with CGI Chandrachud. I personally liked the interview, but I found very few topics covered by the interviewer. Can we expect an interview from News Laundry? I think we must really try for one. He's also given one to, he's been on an
Barkha.
interview spree. He's
We
given
tried.
one to Barkha also.
Yeah.
Vasu tried for us, right? For
But
News
now I
Laundry.
think maybe we can
we
retry.
can try again. Sure, okay.
Jayashree Grace, I hope I got your name right. Hello team, I really enjoy NL Hafta. I learn a lot from discussions. Big fan of Manisha. My suggestion is to pick an environmental issue for discussion. Maybe once in 2 to 3 weeks. The discourse around climate change generally sticks to mitigation measures like renewable energy, but India needs to focus more on climate change adaptation measures like protecting ecosystems and sustainable land use. There are many ongoing issues like conflicts between tribals, mining companies, water accessibility, landslides, and we should have a podcast like once in 2-3 weeks. Maybe with our campaign on Fight to Breathe, we should think of integrating that into Hafta maybe once in 2 months or something like that. Have one little thing with an expert on climate or air or water. It's a good idea. Abhishek says, hi, Abhinandan and everyone on the panel. It would be interesting to see News Laundry do more investigative journalism besides political news. With the mass deportation of Indian citizens from the US, many aspects need to be covered. As the print spoke to one of the deported Indian citizens, they told them about the fake travel agencies and the dream that is sold. We need to cover these voices.
Please read our investigations.
Yeah, we've
on
done
these
this. Na?
deportees.
We've done this, sir.
Basant has done 5 stories or 4 stories?
Abhishek,
He
aapne
did
hame
three-
three.
he did
Three stories. So I think we should.
Yeah, they'll
Plug
be in
them.
the show notes. Abhishek,
Below.
please read them and also share with all your friends and family.
And the thing is that he did interview a lot of these agents, but they are very, very difficult to also talk to. So it took him a lot of time to get it.
Yes.
Because they know that this is now a very hot button sort of
And
topic.
I think at the national level, we were the first one to come up, with a comprehensive story, pretty good investigation. I won't say that because we could spend about 1 month or so on this. And people have approached also to make serial on the basis
Yes,
of this.
on that, yes. In
report,
fact,
so
we did
please
this
read.
whole donkey route thing almost a year and a half or 2 ago.
Yes.
We did a very comprehensive report on these illegal donkeys. The link is, but at that time it wasn't the story of
Yes. We were the
that
first
movie
one to do.
Donkey also came out only after.
the
After.
donkey film
Yeah.
also came out after we had done that detailed report.
Adis Sethi says, while I appreciate the independent and bold journalism done by News Laundry team, I have a philosophical question about social justice in their funding model. News Laundry is funded completely by subscriber money. Is this model fair, given that the poor are unable to afford subscriptions? Does it affect News Laundry's ability or
So
inclination
no,
to
I
cover
can,
issues?
Adish, we have done a podcast on this. This question comes up often. In fact, Anand has a critique on, mainstream media tenders and matrimonials, etc., being a significant non-partisan revenue model. We have also addressed this, and some of this is true. It's a weakness in the model, but we had a 1-hour discussion on this on this panel only, and we'll put a link to that hafta where we discussed revenue models and their weaknesses.
Great. Manan Shah says the best thing about BJP winning Delhi is now there's one entity completely responsible for the state of Yamuna and the state of air in Delhi. They also have neighboring UP and Haryana and are of course at the center and in local level. Now they'll have to clean it for sure or face criticism without deflecting it to anyone else. And you, the NL team, has 40 plus MLA houses to go to in the coming days for the Clean Air project.
Well, no, mark my words. There will be another Nehru when you're
वो
going to
नेहरू
flog
इतना
them.
गंदा छोड़ के गया हम
So,
कुछ कर नहीं पाए.
they will find something in the past. Which
Yeah,
is,
I think it's wildly optimistic to say they'll clean it for sure.
I am optimistic though. I feel like at least
no,
air.
Yamuna, listen, earlier even the
LG
Congress,
had
they had spent 10,000 crore rupees on that.
Yamuna.
I mean, I
don't know,
am
but
in this profession
It
for
was called the
35
Yamuna
years.
Action Plan.
Yamuna Action
Yeah.
Plan. And we have done tons of stories. Tons of stories. And this Yamuna with froth, that picture, Praveen Jain, we took it in 90s.
But I do think one thing that's happened is technology has come a long way. There is, I'm guessing technology has evolved. But I do think one of the combinations that Mr. Modi's, election winning machine does is go for the populist slogans, but deliver on the most things that have optics. Like, for example, I don't know whether you've noticed in the last week, coming to office, the way they're cleaning the streets. Today there were already 4 cars, there was traffic jam because of the cleaning
Cleaning of the
vehicles. There were
streets.
4 of them, one after the other, they were cleaning, right? The boats have started in Yamuna cleaning the Yamuna. Of course, that's not going to happen because you have to clean it upstream. I do think they will definitely make the Yamuna ghats like the Sabarmati Ghat, where
and
people
then
can sit
we can
picnic.
inaugurate it.
But yeah, to clean the river, it's a toughie.
Air
No, but
saaf
that
kar
too
do.
You can
we are
clean the
all-
ghat, but you can't clean
No,
the
no. We are already reporting at how they are concretizing the,
I mean, वो तो गंगा भी साफ नहीं करे, as we know from the
Yamuna.
this
No, and
thing.
Ganga, how much money
How
UP
much
gets
money?
under
Ganga
that Clean
Action
Ganga
Plan,
mission?
yeah.
No, like where is now he's saying that actually the water is very clean. You're all imagining that it's so dirty. So there's no point.
Okay, Manan again says that there's been huge criticism of Donald Trump and government of India of how illegal immigrants were transported. This Modi government couldn't protect the legal citizens on their own land in Mahakumbh. So if you couldn't protect people in Mahakumbh, what can you do about illegal immigrants who've been sent back? What's the point of even speaking about illegal immigrants in such a scenario? It's like expecting someone to get ranking at national level when he couldn't qualify school level or building level things. Dr. Pomposh Bazaz says.
So Dr. Pamposh's letter, I've read, it's 260 words. It is a critique of Arvind Kejriwal. It's more than 150 words, but Dr. Bazaz, I will tell you the audience.
I'll give you the context actually. He had sent it to ask if we would publish. I said it was too short to publish, but it's also too long for Hafta, but we would read out a bit of it on Hafta.
Yeah, so he said that he's quite shocked and disappointed that someone of Arvind Kejriwal's caliber has stooped to this level of politics and that he has become a politician like any other. A man who once took both in his stride, standing alongside the people, is now a politician struggling to appease the masses. Critique well taken. You start your letter, Dr. Bazaz, with you were 13 when you wrote an essay discussing the phenomenon Arvind Kejriwal.
It
And what
was
he
to
meant
be
to feel.
published.
It will be
long.
published. You can read the
Too
full
short or too
email.
long?
No, it can be part of the whole email letters.
Hmm.
The
If he was
things.
13 when he praised Kejriwal, how old is he now? Because
He's-
in my
he's-
in
he'll
my
be
mind,
about
Kejriwal is very
23,
new.
24.
23, 24, he must be 10.
24, yeah, maybe.
Or
So,
25. At the
yeah,
most.
but just the one thing is, Dr. Bazaz, don't make the mistake of, if you actually dig, there used to be a website called Niti Central, which was the first right wing. It preceded Open India and all that, which used to write right of center voices. That time, Tavleen was a complete bhakt of Modi.
Kanchan Gupta's, right? Niti
Kanchan almost
Central.
used, I don't think it was his, but it was, in fact, the guy who was heading it later became Prasar Bharati chairman or something of the sort.
Surya Prakash.
He became something.
Shashi.
Yeah,
Shashi
correct.
Shekhar,
Yeah, yes,
Shashi
yes, he
Shekhar.
became something. In that, there are about 40 pieces that this is the end of Arvind Kejriwal. This is when before AAP, as an activist, as RT activist, as this. One thing I'll tell you, never write anyone off in politics. So the finality that I see in many analysis, I find really amusing. And that's when I say these guys are reporters who have reported for 40, 50, 60 years. And this is their analysis. You're 23, I understand. You were 13. And yes, many of your critique is true. I think it is accurate. But the finality is something that in politics, never ever speculate on the finality of the end of a politician. I'm just 50, so 2-3 years younger than me, but he's seen more. But I have not seen a politician finish like that.
Man, even
BJP
Donald
has
Trump, after his
resurrected.
first term, I think everyone thought
I mean,
That
who
was it.
can
He's
think? I
out.
mean, when BJP was 4 in parliament, we thought, I mean, they will just.
So I think it's clickbaity and attractive. It is more attractive to say that it's the final nail in the coffin than write a say reflective piece. Wait 5 years,
and see what
regroup.
happens.
Time will tell what happens, which is another cliche. But in Dr. Bazaz's defense, he's basically talking about his own disappointment. Not
Yeah.
he's not talking about whatever op-ed writers are saying, but he thinks Kejriwal is no good anymore.
Right. So on that note, we have finished all the emails. There were 35 pending emails. You see, we leave none. Leave no supporter behind. That is our motto. So if we were an army, we'd leave no one behind on the battlefield.
So I had one thing to say because I expected some mails because of that, but it didn't come. Thanks. So
Why? What did you say that was so offensive last time, Anand?
not it offensive. It was incomplete.
Huh.
I forgot the main thing to say, and
Which
I
was?
reacted to what some people said. So which was on that universities thing. So there was a discussion on shaping of individuals. So the thing that I wanted to start with, I didn't say. I say that you have also been to university. Every one of us have. So I think the power of universities to shape individuals has declined over the last 2-3 decades. Means because of things like what I think is that most people, I think Santosh Desai wrote a piece and it made a point long ago that that college education for like there are ghost or dummy schools where 11 you do 11 12th and you don't go to school and prepare for IIT and this. So colleges and universities have become like that now. So you are in a 3-year or master's, a 3-year graduate program, masters, and most of the students are not aligned to college and university activities. What you see in college politics, most people in the university don't take them as serious students. They say
You're
that
right.
ye neta sab hai, and their voice is amplified. Like even they are from AVVP and SUI, and their voice is amplified, and journalists take that as the political position, as but 80-85% of students are not engaging with that. They are even how much class you attended?
Exactly. I've said I've attended maybe 50 or 60 classes in 3 years.
How much classes we attend? So are we really in a position to be shaped by professors or student leaders? No.
But Anand, don't you think it's also to do with your age? Because you're already 17, 18. Like, for example, I have seen, because I went to an all-boys boarding from class 1 to class 12. Some of the influences there are lifelong. The traumas, the destructive influences, some of, my friends, the kind of things I say, I was like, dude, like, bahar mat bolna hai aisa. The usage of words, the usage of the views on someone who's effeminate, it is, and I think that is to do with school. Because you're very impressionable between the ages of, I think, about 8 to 14. That is, the trauma doesn't leave. But college, we are already so old. I think so. It's not. That
Also
is
not in schools that I went to. I went to a very different kind of government school.
But even that influence would be. But whatever influence you had there, good or bad, would be more solid than a university influence.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that universities, majority of students are dissociated with the community experience of an university life. So they are living in their tiny rooms and preparing for something, or hanging out with gangs, which are very, very different from what people see as university politics. So that is a point to be taken into account when we see what is the influence of an university on. I think Santosh Desai put it better than I did, I completely agree with that. In fact, I wanted to write it before him, but he stole a march on me.
Okay, on that note, thank you so much. You can mail us at podcast@newslaundry.com. Your suggestions. I have taken the suggestion on Hafta to be made free after certain. I think we should re-look at that strategy. I think it's a very good idea. But yeah, thank you for ideas. Thank you for your support. QR code, Pay to keep news free. Help us grow, survive, etc., etc.
Thank
Adios.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.